We are back. We got to finish this. I apologize about the little technical difficulties there. But we are back. Who's with me? Gonna finish this real quick. So in the last video, I was talking about making observations as I go about my daily routine, right? And I've always been a little bit of a people watcher, right? And I think we all have that in us, right? Where I just sit back. What's good? Carlos is back. Thank you, my brother. Where I just sit back and I kind of, what's good, Juan from Jersey? Juan Santiago. Gracias, Juan. Shout out to all my Latinos. What's good, if I'm back? Little technical difficulties, but we will not be stopped. Who's your daddy? Indiana back in the house. So in the last video, I was making a video, right? About the fact that in my daily routine, I do a lot of observing as I'm going about my day, right? And I think a lot of us do that. And in those observations, I can't help but see that there are so many couples that are just miserable. And when I say couples, I'm talking more about the females, the women in the relationship. That's just my observation. Maybe some of you had noticed it. Maybe women watching out can relate. Maybe men can relate. And this is in no way, shape, or form saying that there are not men out here, and even watching now perhaps, who are miserable in their relationships. It goes both ways. Okay? I know that side, how it feels to be in a relationship where you're just not happy, where you just don't feel appreciated, right? And don't feel loved. So I definitely relate. So I don't want none of my male viewers saying, damn, Davy, what's good? Are you dumping on the men today? What's going on? It's not about that. Again, don't get it twisted. I'm talking about specifically my observations as I go about my day. And I notice that there are so many women who are just completely miserable. Whether you can see it on their face or whether they're arguing, or their facial expression, their body expression, their arms crossed, they're walking in the store, and I just don't get it. So I'm asking the female viewers, the ladies specifically, why? Now in the last video, before we had the little technical difficulties, I hit on some reasons. There are financial reasons. There are women who are with men just for the money. We all know that. Unfortunately, gold diggers. We've all heard that, of course. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking more the opposite. I'm talking about women who allow men, freeloading, deadbeat men who don't do shit, who don't do nothing with themselves, who don't help out in any way, who don't literally, and I mean in the literal sense, don't put anything on the table. In fact, quite the opposite. Men who mooch off the women. So we all know that, and we also know that that exists. So my question is, for the women, this is strictly for the ladies, this video, why? I mean, the guys could also partake in this, but I'm saying, I'm asking women this question, not men. Why? Ladies, why do you allow, especially if you're not happy, why do you, I mean, literally, like allow, let me get to the point. Allow a deadbeat, a loser, a slacker, a deadbeat. And I mean deadbeat in the literal sense. I'm talking about men, and many times men who have kids scattered throughout the country in different states and don't have any connection and any relationship with their kids, with their children. And all they do is bounce from woman to woman to woman because they find these gullible, naive women who continue to allow men in their lives who are using them. Why? I mean, honestly, like, and I'm not even trying to dump on the women right now. I'm just honestly asking why. You know, a relationship is supposed to be, you know, a union in many ways. And I'm not talking about marriage. Some relationships obviously lead to marriage. But in a relationship, you're supposed to partake, right? There needs to be understanding, right? Obviously, there needs to be love, right? And it's a two-way street. So if you're a woman and you clearly realize that you're not happy, and you clearly know that you continue to allow these men to use you, men to check in with you, men who don't contribute to the rent, who don't continue to the groceries, men who are, like I said, who are using you. Why do women allow this? Then there's another part that I've noticed. I personally know women who have, what's good, Albert, what's good, baby? I forget where you tuning in from, where you logging in from. Shout it out, Albert. Then I've also noticed that there's a big percentage of women who are in these relationships, which I don't understand what the fuck kind of relationship that it is. You know, it seems like they never are partaking with their significant other. You know, there's no going out together. There's no, not even to the grocery store. It's like the men stay home all day, okay? You know, they don't really support the woman. They don't go to any activities with the woman. They don't go anywhere with the women's family, you know, family outings, family gatherings. You know, even working around the house, you know, not that, you know, hey, listen, I'm the first one who will tell you women can do anything a man can do, and they can do it 10 times better. So ladies, don't misunderstand where I'm coming from. But I'm sorry, if I was a woman and I'm home and I'm in my home and I'm allowing some deadbeat slacker, deadbeat guy to live off me, the least thing that I would do is make sure that this fucking dude does his part. I mean, he's got to take out the fucking garbage. He's got to do the dishes. He's got to do some housework. He's got to do something. But no, these women that I'm talking about specifically, they give these men a complete free pass. Why? Why? I'm asking specifically. Why, ladies? Why? And if you're one of these women or know one of these women that I'm talking about specifically, including one of these women who just seem like you would scratch your head and say, what kind of relationship is that? Because the last I checked, the relationship is supposed to be, you know, a good thing, right? Something that you share life with. You're sharing your life with somebody. That's not to say that people shouldn't have their own space, because having your own space is actually a good thing when it comes to a relationship. You need to have your own space. Everyone should have their own space and do their own thing. You don't always have to be joined at the hip. So don't misunderstand me. But I'm talking about the other extreme. I'm talking about the extreme where there are women who I know of personally who are completely, without a doubt, miserable, completely miserable in these relationships. Who at the end of the day, if you go down a checklist, do we have fun together? No. Does he help out? No. Does he contribute in any way? No. Am I truly happy with him? No. When you check off these boxes, I bet that most women are truly not happy in the relationship they are in. So once we establish that, the question once again is why? Red Comic, what's good? You've been lost. Red Comic, everybody give Red Comic a little round of applause, because I have not seen my man in the longest. He either unsubscribed from my channel. Red Comic, I gotta bust your chops real quick, my man. I gotta bust your balls, bro. Red Comic is one of my day ones. We go way back as far as, you know, never met in person, but he's always supported the channel. He remembers Davy V from way back from the cable access show days. Keep it on the real in the 90s. What's good, my brother? Oh, man. Good to have you. Good to have you on the channel. So when we establish that it's absolutely true that a lot of women, and maybe you guys and girls will disagree with me, but I believe the majority of women that you right now know, if you did a checklist where you're checking off boxes, I would say that the majority of women are not truly happy in the relationships that they are in. Don't feel appreciated. Don't feel the guy really loves them. Don't feel the guy really understands them. And definitely don't feel that the guy is doing anything to better their life. All my Latino listeners right now, you may recognize this saying that I'm going to say in Spanish, and then I'll say it in English, right? In Spanish, and I don't think it's strictly Cuban, but I remember this saying, my mom talking about friends that weren't happy in their relationships. My aunt, rest in peace. I remember this growing up in Miami. Hold on. I remember growing up in Miami. Hold on. Give me 1 second here. We're making a little complicated turn here. A lot of traffic today. I remember growing up in Miami, a lot of people in Spanish, Cuban community especially, shout out to the 305, would say this. Okay? I'm going to say it in Spanish first, and then I'll say what it means in English for my non-Spanish speaking viewers, right? Fans. I hope y'all fans. Y'all fans, right? Y'all Davy V fans? Mejor estar solo que mal acompañado. Let me repeat it. Mejor estar solo que mal acompañado. Let's play a little game. Let's make this fun. The whole thing about this channel is supposed to be not only educational, informative, but also fun, right? It's supposed to entertain you guys, right? Before I say what it means in English, I'll say it one more time in Spanish. I want to hear one of you. Let's see if one of you listening right now, watching live, knows what I said. I'll say it one more time. Mejor estar solo que mal acompañado. Anyone want to take a crack at what that means? I'll repeat it a couple more times. Mejor estar solo que mal acompañado. Any Latino viewers? No one wants to take a crack at that? Mejor estar solo que mal acompañado. What it means in English is better to be alone. There you go. Oh, somebody got it. Auburn. I'd rather be alone than with bad company. Exactly. It misses the jingle a little bit when you translate it word for word, verbatim from Spanish to English. So let me explain it a little better, but Auburn is absolutely right. Gracias. Hi, what's good, Alfredo Rivera? Let me explain it a little better. Better to be alone than unhappy is the way that I find it best to translate it completely. What's good, Aubrey? Absolutely. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you again. Aubrey says you're welcome. So Aubrey hit it right. He translated it word for word. Better to be alone than with bad company. That's what it means. But when we say it in Spanish, what we really mean is mostly is talking about relationships, okay? Most often than not. And basically it means better to be alone than unhappy. Also, better to be alone than miserable. That is pretty much the equivalent of what that means, okay? And that is exactly what I'm getting at. I see so many women. And again, one day we'll do a video about men because there's a lot of men being underappreciated, a lot of men in relationships that they don't feel loved. And I've been there. I'm talking from experience, and we'll make a video about that. So hang in there, guys. We will make a video about all us men who have been in situations like that, right? But again, this video is more about the women because of observations that I make and I've made in my life and people that I personally know, women that I know who are completely miserable, who are unhappy but yet they continue to be in these relationships where they're miserable, where they're unhappy, where they don't feel appreciated, where they don't feel loved, and where they know that, you know, the men they're with are using them. So again, why? Why do you allow this to continue? And back to the saying, mejor estar solo que mal acompañado, better to be alone than unhappy, better to be alone than miserable. It all goes back to that. What is the sense of being in a relationship if you what is the sense of being in a relationship if when you take out that little box, and not literally that little checklist, you don't have to do it literally, you can do it in your mind. I encourage every woman, every female, every lady right now watching this to do it, even in their mind. If you don't want to leave a note that your boyfriend or husband will find, that's fine. Don't do it. Do it in your mind. Do it internally. And check off those boxes internally. Pennsylvania, 85% of white women love mixed men. Oh, shit. Albert has started something here. We're going to have to make another video about that. I'm not necessarily disagreeing. I'm with you on that. We'll make another video about that. That's a good topic right there. We're gonna name that topic. We'll make that video down the road, Albert. But if again, I encourage every woman watching this, if you take out that little, whether literally a sheet of paper or do it in your mind, I tell you to do it in your mind better. Okay? Go through those boxes. And I will bet you that the majority of you, when you go through those checklists and go down and check each box, am I happy? Do I feel appreciated? Do I feel loved? Does he listen to me? Does he partake with me? Do we have a loving... Hoosier said, I'm mixed white Italian. Does that count? Laughing my fucking ass off. Hoosier's like, hey, hold on. I'm a white guy, but hold on. Here's my story, all right? Let me break it down what my roots are. Shout out to you again, my brother from Indiana. Former Rochester native tuning in. I will bet that the majority of women, if they do or when they do that checklist, Albert said, laughing my ass off. I will bet that most women will reach the conclusion that, yes, that it's true. That they're in a dead-end relationship, that they're being used, that they're not appreciated, that they're not loved, that they're allowing these slackers, these deadbeats, okay, to live off them, to use them. And I challenge every female, every woman watching this right now, because I believe that most of you will arrive at this conclusion. So if you do arrive at that conclusion, if you do arrive at the conclusion that, yes, what Davy V said is so true in that video, that does apply to me, holy shit, then you have to ask yourself the $1 million question. Does anyone have a guess what the $1 million question would be? The $1 million question would be, why? Why? Make a video about these deadbeat dads not paying child support. Absolutely, Albert, absolutely. And some of those are these men I'm talking about. I know relationships right now where women have given their deadbeat boyfriends who have children, like I said earlier, scattered throughout the country in different states, who do nothing for their children, who have no relationship with their children. Inf said the question would be why and what to do about it. Yes. 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 Hoosier said it perfect. There's a lot of deadbeat mothers too. You're kind of late to the show, Hoosier. I love you, my man, but we're going to make a video about that. I've said several times that I don't want you guys thinking this is dumping on you. But today, this is like my random thought of the day, and I know the video's already gone, 20 minutes, and we did another video earlier where we had technical difficulties. Absolutely. And trust me, I ain't letting no deadbeat moms off the hook, because I know some personally. Trust me on that. Personally, I know some. But again, this video is not about that. This video is about why are there so many women in relationships that where they're miserable. And perhaps even more importantly or more disturbingly, why, and I'm talking to the women. I'm going to talk directly to the women and ask them this. Why, ladies, why do you continue to allow men to use you, to live off you, to not contribute in any way at all? Why do you stay in these relationships? Why? Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. More content coming your way soon. Shout out to all the new subscribers. Love each and every